E is predictable. I'd like to start off by saying Barakatah Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahweh Shai Ba'Hashem Kodash. Welcome to another live lesson. You heard the title of this one. E is predictable. That's the title that just came to me. I'm not sure how I came across this information. There's so much stuff going out that it's impossible to remember every little detail. But either a brother sent this to me, or I ran into this. Looking through the news articles every once in a while. I scroll through news articles, see if I could find anything of interest, anything to teach on, or anything I could send the brothers, maybe give them ideas to do lessons with. And I'm like I said, I don't remember if a brother sent this to me or not, but there's a bunch of different outlets that reported on this, and I believe this happened. Was it last night? Yep, December 15, 2023. Well, this is when it came out today. 09. Okay, so it happened in probably the wee hours of the morning. No, it couldn't. It had to be sometime yesterday. And this is off of the U.S. Sun, and there's many other, the Daily Mail. It came out on the Daily Mail and others, but it's saying city sleeps. New York City power outage baffles residents as boroughs plunged into darkness for a brief second in wild blackout. And pretty much what happened was there was this blackout, and everything went out, for just a second, I believe it was, as they said. And people were stuck in elevators. They were, in a state of chaos. They didn't know what to do. They were nervous, and they were frantically calling 911, of course. So the fire department had to go out and help people get out of these different elevators. Times Square went dark, as we were reading in the article. Let me see. Let's see. New Yorkers have been left in shock after a brief power outage plunged Times Square and other areas of the city into darkness. The second-long electricity blackout was reported by residents in several boroughs of New York City. And they show you a picture of it. Smoke was seen rising from an electricity plant after New York City was plunged into darkness during a second-long power outage. Police quickly descended on the area as locals were left confused by the brief blackout. Firefighters are seen at the substation in Brooklyn as the power company said it was investigating the outage. The electricity went out for a second, came back on, then flickered again. It caused all of the elevators and escalators to go out of service at Grand Central Terminal, a huge transit hub for NYC. The Long Island Railroad sent out an alert about the issue, saying that it was because of an ongoing Con Edison power problem. Con Edison is an energy company that provides electricity and gas service to New York City. It says trains were operating on or close to schedule as staff worked to get the escalators and elevators back up. Elevators and escalators at Grand Central Station were out of service, blah, 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 blah. So, you get the picture, that's the main picture. But the reason why I titled it E is predictable, because here it is. You just had this movie come out, Leave the World Behind, where they so-called hacked, things. The phones were out, the power was out in certain areas, so on and so forth. And then all of a sudden, boom, this happens. Now, is that a coincidence? Well, there's no such thing as coincidence. Matter of fact, let me read this precept real quick. This is Amos chapter 3, verse 6. Shall a trumpet be blown in the city, and the people not be afraid? Shall there be evil in the city, and the Lord have not done it? So pretty much it's the Lord stirring this stuff up. So he's working on the mind of Esau to come up with all these different, um, all of these different events, we can call them, to pretty much keep people afraid. And that's pretty much what Esau is doing. They're trying to keep people afraid because remember, their motto, order ab chaos, means order out of chaos. So they have to have chaos before they could bring the order, but they have to have the people in such a heightened, frightened state that they'll be willing to do anything, to get some type of relief. And in this movie that just came out, this pretty much was a sentiment, where everything was shut down. And people today, are glued to their phone. You see them walking in the street, tripping, running into shit, running into cars, getting hit by cars because they're on their phone. On the platform, train platforms, falling into the train platforms because they're not paying attention because their head is jammed into that device, to that phone. So it's like these devils done addicted these people so much to these phones, that they can't live without those phones. And then the character that Ethan Hawke played in the movie, remember, he said that, he couldn't do anything because pretty much his whole life was in that phone. People today can't remember phone numbers. They can't go 2 blocks up to a store that they've been to all their life. They can't go 2 blocks up to a store, a supermarket, or a gas station without typing it into their GPS, how to get there. And it's like, it's a smartphone, but it's making people stupid. It's making them stupid and rely on this thing. If anything I need, I'll just type it online and it'll come up. So this whole thing with this movie just coming out and everything happening, it's kind of heavy that, we're seeing like little hints of this movie playing out here. Just like the movie White Noise. When the movie White Noise came out, and then not too long after that, they had the same scenario play out in the same area, that the movie was filmed in. Is that a coincidence? No. So pretty much these devils are showing you, but the simple are not going to be able to see it. And the Lord is working on these devils to do that. Let me get this real quick. Job 33:15. In a dream, in a vision of the night, when deep sleep falleth upon men and slumberings upon the bed, meaning when they're in dead sleep and in REM sleep, which is rapid eye motion. Then he openeth the ears of men. What are the ears? Meaning their mind. And sealeth their instruction, because the Lord has certain things for certain people to do, and he'll seal it in their instructions so that they can eventually, either the next day or the following day or the next week, put this thing into motion. Because remember, man's goings are of the Lord, that he may withdraw man from his purpose and hide pride from man. Right. And that's the reason why, because it's the Lord doing everything that you see. It's just that he's using, different, these international banking families, so on and so forth, to push forward. Because really, this is the Most High's agenda. It's Esau's agenda, but it's the Most High's agenda on the left-hand side. And when I say Most High, I'm talking about Yahweh. All right? It's his agenda on the left-hand side that he just happens to be using the vessels of Esau, the left-hand energy of the Most High, to push these things. Remember what happened with that White Noise. The movie came out, then all of a sudden, that whole scenario played out. Let's see, the brother, the elder Amawan Gabar Shalom, my brother. Power goes out very briefly in New York City. An explosion was seen at a Con Edison substation in Brooklyn after lights flickered in people's homes yesterday. Right. So the bottom line is they're blaming it on Con Ed and the power problems that they're having, but they sabotage stuff. Like another thing that came up when I typed in, the lights going out in New York, was the blackout of 1977, which I actually was living in the Bronx at the time, right on, I believe that was East Tremont Street we used to stay on, because my father was a superintendent of a building, and we were living right there in 1977 when the blackout went out, and that thing went out, and man, Jake went crazy. You know, they destroyed the city at that time. You know, but the thing about it was, it says what caused it. It said it was a lightning strike. That's bullshit. This is what I said. Esau is predictable. He said that the lightning strike, you know, caused this. No, I mean, is that possible? Yeah, it's possible. But you don't think these devils are prepared for all of these different things, all these different scenarios? You know, if they have the technology to make a building that can sway so that it won't be too rigid from when the wind hits it to snap, you don't think they already prepared for, okay, in case there's a flood, in case there's a fire, in case there's a lightning strike, you know, we have backup generators, backup power? Come on, man. The scriptures say that they accomplished a diligent search. But this is all a part of them pushing forward their agenda. And they're showing people what's happening. You know, like it's a minor thing. You know, that blackout, it's a minor thing. But then again, you know, it's showing you how every time they bring something out in a movie, something happens on the earth that mimics that. Why is that? Is that a coincidence? I trow not. Psalm 64:1 says, hear my voice, O Most High, and my prayer, preserve my life from fear of the enemy. Right, because these devils are coming down hard. Oh, that's another thing. I can't remember if it was John Todd. I believe it was John Todd that said this, that their plans of the New World Order, when they have it cemented and ready to roll out, you know, there was a saying, I don't know who said it, I forget who said it, but they said, when the lights go off for the last time in New York City, the world is ours. That's what they said. You know, I don't remember who said it, but I believe it was John Todd that brought out the quote that somebody else spoke about. Because you have to understand that New York and America is the hub or the catapult for the New World Order. You know, this is where it's happening at. You know, and then that the brother just asked me a little while ago about Revelation 6, you know, about the fourth part of the earth, and I told him just type in, you know, fourth part of the earth, you know, and something will come up because I don't remember the guy's name, you know, and I even told him, you know, Deacon Akal, you know, was the one credited for finding this information, you know, which is it. Unlike other individuals out there, we give credit to where information comes from, all right, and you know. So that led me to, matter of fact, let me get that real quick, because that's a key scripture, because this is pretty much what's coming. Let's go to Revelation 6. Beautiful. And 7. And when he had opened the fourth seal, I heard the voice of the fourth beast say, come and see. And I looked, and behold, a pale horse. Now this pale horse represents devastation, destruction, disarray. All right. You better believe that they're going to have so much chaos out here that people are going to, you know, I mean, we're in the end of the world already, but they're going to think that that day is the end of the world, you know, because there's going to be so much commotion and chaos. But they're stirring that up because of their motto, Ordo ab Chaos. It says, and his name that sat on him was Death. All right. And that's what's coming. A lot of death is coming, you know, to the world. Remember, this is a worldwide event. This is a worldwide agenda. You have the time, the hour of temptation, Jacob's trouble. All of these are synonymous one with the other. And all of these are necessary before the end of the world could come, before the kingdom can come. All right. This is like that, what they say, the final or the last hurrah. It says, and he that sat on him was Shalakim, and his name that sat on him was Death, and hell followed him, meaning the grave. And power was given unto them over the fourth part of the earth, which is here in America, and pretty much, you know, this side of the world. But mainly the hub or the capital of that would be here in America, because this is where they're causing all this havoc to be pushed around the world. They're not using Canada. I mean, they are using Canada, but not on the level of America. They're not using Central America, South America, the Caribbean islands to push this LGBT, XYZ, and everything in between alphabet, you know, agenda to the world. They're using America. Everything that you see around the world that echoes death and echoes destruction and echoes, you know, demoralization, all comes from America. because the Lord said that he will mingle a perverse spirit in the midst of Egypt. This is the modern day Egypt. It says to kill with the sword and with hunger and with death and with the beasts of the earth. So that's what we see coming, you know. And they're going to blame it on hackers, because, you know, they've been saying that for a long time. They're going to blame it on the terrorists, you know. They're going to blame it on everybody but themselves, because this is their plan, their agenda. Ordo ab chaos. You have to remember that. Ordo ab chaos. All right. Now, let's go back to the scripture we were at. Psalm 64. So, you know, you watch for these little hints, these little things that they do. And then when they bring in a certain chaos or certain things that are part of their agenda, they always cloud it with a bunch of fluff. Celebrity gossip or something, a fire or something happened over here, over there, to take people's attention off of the main thing that's going on. Whenever you hear them say, well, this is going to happen, you know, and everybody's reporting on it, you could bank on it that they're not going to do it, you know. Because remember, they trying to be like the Most High. The Most High is very unpredictable, so they're trying to be the same way. You know, so whenever you see, oh, this is going to happen and that's going to happen, people talking about this and, you know, such and such, and no, it ain't going to happen. It's not going to happen. Elder Pastor, I put ex-Satanist John Todd, President, Rothschild, United Kingdom, Q&A. Oh, man, that's going to be some, I had to check that out. Lord's will, this will come up, back up, because sometimes, I don't know, lately when the live is done, sometimes the comments don't come back up. But hopefully they do, so I can get a hold of that. But let me read this brother's precept. 2 Corinthians 2:11, lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. Beautiful, beautiful. So going back to Psalm 64:2, hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity. And that's what they're doing. An insurrection is a cutting from within. And they're cutting who? The people of the Most High, the Israelites. Remember, there shall be a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord. Who fears the Lord more than Jake? Even though Jake, they're establishing their own righteousness. They're not really following the law, statutes, and commandments of the Lord, you know, as they should. But when it comes to devotion, when it comes to talking about the Most High and giving lip service and all that, who does that fit? The Israelites, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians. These are the people that draw close to the Most High more than any other nation. The other nations, they'll draw close to a Buddha, they'll draw close to a Hare Krishna, whatever other religion and gods that they worship. But the main thing that they draw close to is what? Money. That is the God of the nations. Money is the God of these nations. Who said this? Damn. I forgot who said it. Damn. But he said something along the line is God is money and Rothschild is his prophet, or something along those lines. You see? Because that's who they worship. They worship money. They don't worship, you know, the Lord, and they don't have a religious, you know, piety about them, unless it's wickedness. So it goes on to say, who whet their tongue like a sword, which means to sharpen, and bend their bows to shoot their arrows, even bitter words. And Apostle Tara, I was just watching the video he did where he brought up the word indictment, and I looked it up and I put it on the comment board, and it does mean to speak, you know, to say, because an indictment is like a formal charge that you're being accused of something and they're bringing a charge against you, but they have to invoke it, they have to speak it, you know, and that's what you have the attorneys and Salakia. Salakia for that, brothers. Been hacking this shit up, you know. But that's what you have your attorneys and your prosecutors for, you know, to vocally speak about these things openly in court. Because if they're bringing a sentence against you, you have to know what the sentence is according to the Constitution. You have to know who's your accusers, what you're being accused of, what crime you committed. So they have to speak it into existence. So that's what an indictment is. So it says, who whet their tongue like a sword and bend their bows to shoot their arrows, even bitter words. And these bitter words are being set up and established through their legislation. You know, and this is why they're pushing that legislation so heavy, because that's, you know, once it's in law, you can't get around it because they control and operate everything. So if they control and operate everything, you know, they're going to establish these laws that they put into the books. This is why Maya Angelou always quote this: "Give me control of a nation's money, and I care not who makes the laws." Because these big giant corporations that you see around the world have bought these different governments around the world, have bought the puppet leaders, the senators, and all of the different men that hammer out, you know, these policies in government. So of course they run everything, and of course they're going to vote in favor of these corporations. You know, like there was a thing where one of those, you know, max to the in, you know, I say it like that because, you know, they're real strict on that. Companies or corporations just got sued for millions of dollars. I think hundreds of millions of dollars. And I was like, that ain't shit. They got sued for that because of what they did to, you know, certain individuals with that thing, right? But you got to remember, they make billions and trillions of dollars or billions of dollars off of this stuff. So to pay a little, you know, a little fine of a few million or a few $100 million, that's shit. This is why these different corporations, it's cheaper for them to drop their refuse in the ocean and certain waterways and get fined, you know, hundreds of thousands or even a couple of $1 million. It's cheaper for them to pay the fine on these things than for them to actually get rid of this toxic waste, you know, properly. So you got to understand, it's you know, they're making a business decision to do these things. So, well, you know, if we do this, it's going to cost us several $1 million to dispose of this. But if we dump it in these waters, it's going to cost us a few $100,000, you know, of a fine. So what do you think they're going to go with? They're not looking to the benefit of the people. They're looking to their own benefit, you know? So this is Isaiah chapter 10, verse 1. Woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees. What is a decree? A decree is a law. Something that is put into law. Something that is written. It starts off, you know, as a lonely bill. I'm just a bill. Inside joke. You know, but it's true. And it has to pass legislation through Capitol Hill. You know, they sit down and senators vote on it. You know, they read the law, you know, or the bill. And they vote on it whether yay or nay. You know, whether they should pass it or not. And until it's not passed, you know, it says, and that right grievousness which they have prescribed. Now, the word prescribe or prescription means to pre-write. Because before any law is law, it's a bill first. You know, it's introduced into Congress as a bill. Then that bill is passed and it becomes law. And they have to have a certain amount of votes in order to get that law in there. And why are they doing that? Because because of the draconian measure in the prophecy that the Lord said would happen. That they would speak as a dragon. You know, and that's through their legislation. Their legislation speaks when they put it into action. Because as long as they bring in the bill, they pass the bill, make it a law, the law is dormant while it's sitting there on the paper or in the book. But then when they invoke it on the people, that's when it starts to speak. You see? So all of those laws you see that these devils have, they're written in books, they're sitting up in libraries, they're collecting dust. But eventually, down the road, whatever laws they need, they bring them into existence by bringing them into the court and charging people with them or indicting people with them. All right? Then it says to turn aside the needy from judgment and to take away the right from the poor of my people, that widows may be their prey and that they may rob the fatherless. So let's go from there to Psalms, the 64th chapter back there. And now we're going to go to, I'll read the third verse again. I like how that sounded. Who whet their tongue, the word whet is W-H-E-T, which means to sharpen. Who sharpen their tongue like a sword and bend their bows to shoot their arrows, even bitter words. Matter of fact, another precept came to mind. Let's go to Psalms. Is that 55? Yeah, I believe it's 55. I started at 19. I think it's 55, 19. Beautiful. Psalms 55, 19. This is, man, if this ain't talking about Esau, I don't know what is. The Most High shall hear and afflict them, meaning Esau. Even he that abideth of old, that old serpent, which is the devil and Satan, Selah. So pause on that one. Think about that. The abideth of old, that old serpent, which is the devil and Satan, that's Esau, because they have no changes, because they haven't been judged, because they are continually on an upward spiral, right? It says, therefore they fear not the Most High, but they will fear. He had put forth his hands against such as be at peace with him, right? Because here it is, no matter what law or legislation Esau puts out, no matter how wrong it is, Jake follows their lead, right? It says, he had put forth his hands against such as be at peace with him. He had broken his covenant. And this, we know your track record, okay? Inside joke, but we know this devil's track record. From everything that he's done, he's broken every treaty. There's nothing sacred to this man. This man is the devil. And those of you out there that think this is a joke, when the horns come out and poke you in the ass, then you're going to realize, damn, this man is the devil. No shit. It says, the words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords. So they're sharpening these words, in their legislation, in the things that they have written in the books. As we read in Psalm 64:3, who whet their tongue like a sword and bend their bows to shoot their arrows, even bitter words, because these words, which are going to become draconian, are going to sting people. They're going to hurt. They will hurt you. They might stab you. They might shoot you. Inside joke. That they may shoot in secret at the perfect. And who are the perfect? The Israelites, especially the ones that know that they're Israelites, that are awoke out here, that are giving this man verbal hell through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Because we're just talking right now. The Lord is going to bring it into action. Suddenly do they shoot at him and fear not, right? Because for all of these hundreds of years that they've been in power since the Renaissance, they put holy hell on Jake and still haven't paid for it. So they have no fear of the Most High because they think the Lord is with them. It says, they encourage themselves in an evil matter. They commune of laying snares privately. They say, who shall see them? Right. So pretty much that's what they're doing. All of these traps, all of these things that you see going on before you are traps that they're setting up. They're closing everything off. They're making everything, digital, cutting everybody out of the grid. And if you notice, just before that movie came out, Leave the World Behind, here it is. They just shifted everything over to a 5G, right? And people, the 4G is becoming obsolete, so you should get the 5G. You'll be all right. You'll have no more problems. If you want your internet to run faster, so on and so forth, your Wi-Fi, just convert over to this, and you'll be all right. Now here it is. The 5G is in place, right? And everything is still effing up. The internet is buffering. The videos are buffering, having problems with this and that, the other. Because it's all a plan. Look, these devils are pretty much testing this technology so that it can get people so hooked on it that they become like fiending for it. They'll be begging for the new system that's coming online. It says, they encourage themselves in an evil matter. They commune of laying snares privately. They say, who shall see them? They search out iniquities. They accomplish a diligent search, both the inward thought of every one of them and the heart is deep. Because to the public, they'll paint it as it's beneficial to the people. But deep down inside in their heart is like they already know what they have planned. They know that they're coming to bring hell upon Jake and the rest of the world. It says, both the inward thought and of every one of them and the heart is deep. The Most High shall shoot at them with an arrow. Suddenly shall they be wounded. Because eventually, after the exposure, comes the judgment. We're in the exposing stage, the sentencing stage. Right after that's done and the Lord draws the prophets back, then the judgment is coming. But not until he puts his system in place. And the main part of his system to put in place is the MOTB system. With all the devices, the biometrics, and all that they're pushing out there to connect people with the internet, IoT, the Internet of Things, or IOB, the Internet of Bodies. It says, but the Most High shall shoot at them with an arrow, suddenly shall they be wounded, so they shall make their own tongue to fall upon themselves, all that see them shall flee away. Yeah, because some from within see the horrors, and they said, nah, we can't, they start growing the conscience, and they start exposing these devils for the things that they're doing. It says, and all men shall fear and shall declare the work of the Most High, for they shall wisely consider of his doing, because the Lord is exposing them. 2 Thessalonians, the 2nd chapter. The righteous shall be glad in the Lord, Yahweh Bashem El Shai, and shall trust in him, and all the upright in heart shall glory. Right. And that's, what we're waiting for. We're waiting for the change. We're waiting for the Lord to take this place out. We hasten in the day that the Lord take this place out, so that the righteous kingdom can be established and this wicked kingdom can be put down. Because you see where it's going. You see the direction that it's going. It's not going in a good direction. Things are getting worse and worse and worse. The condition of the earth is grieving. It's failing. It's falling apart. These devils are mining and taking stuff out of the earth at such a phenomenal rate that the earth is starting to fight back against these devils. Everything is out of course. Nothing is running how it should. Not even the food is able to sustain people anymore. You got to take, it seems like you have to take more supplements than you do medication, hand in hand. So you're either going to take a bunch of pills that Esau makes, or you're going to have to take a bunch of pills, to keep your nutrition going. Get your nutrition, inside joke. So it's this devil has to go. There's no other way. He gots to go. There's no other way. Nothing else it makes sense. But that this devil be put down. This miserable, flea-ridden, a sack of shit devil. This mangy mutt that has been causing havoc and ruckus on the earth. He got to be put down. That's the only solution. I can't see any other solution. So I just wanted to, say a few words on that, because, this thing that happened in New York, it just happened right after that movie just came out. It was only for a second, but look at the havoc and chaos that it brought. People were stuck in elevators. They had to be rescued. Can you imagine the amount of calls that came into 911, and the bugged out state that people were already in, trying to call and hearing that busy signal, So yeah, man. So keep your eyes open. That's just the beginning. 2024. Hopefully, we pray Yahweh Bashem Al Shai, let it come in with a serious bang, man. Like my man came into that room, that Russian dude, and just let off 3 grenades, man, up in there. And he just tore the room apart, man. He effed them people up, and that dude was kind of rough because he was standing by the door, and the grenades were going off. He was just standing there, So yeah, man, this devil got to go. So with that, I pray that you brothers and few sisters have been edified. Till the next time I say shalom.